Hello everyone. Hey, I'm back and I'm going to start off with the rear differential. Had a buddy put this in. I bought an aftermarket gasket, which I highly recommend you don't. Buy the Field Pro spec for the differential because there's a lip that comes with the Field Pro in order for, and I'm thinking this is the reason why, that not to cut into it or push it back in when you're working on this. So just FYI. Yeah, I had to use the razor blade to take all the old gasket stuff that was up there, right? So just FYI, clean it really good as you can, 10 bolt, and get the recommended Field Pro gasket for that. That is a Canadian posi track, original for a 1963 Chevy Impala. The difference on this is the P. If you don't know anything about posi, what to look for, I'll show you here. And get this shit moved over. You see the P? It's sideways on here. The American posi track P will be over there. That's the difference between the two. They're both identical, pretty much. So you can use either one, American or Canadian. Now, because my buddy did the hard work on pulling these axles out, I didn't have to have an axle puller. I just used my brass hammer and beat the sides of this evenly, kind of, somewhat evenly around, and it came right out. Same thing over there. So when you're doing this, and this is your first time gonna do this, you take obviously your brake setup off, leave it, get it to this point. You're gonna have to, I'd say, pop it out about 6 to 7 inches out on both sides, and then your differential will come out nicely. And do the reverse when you go put this back on, right? Clean that up, put your Field Pro in, put the differential in, button it up, and then the reverse, right? So, yeah, just know you won't do anything here. No harm, nothing. But always make sure, of course, like anything, drain the fluid before you do any of this stuff here. So I did it for both sides, and both sides actually came out pretty nicely. Let's go look over here. Now, the front clip, pretty much completely removed. Took out the 350, gonna put in a 454. I might have done a video on that, I don't remember. When I do get it, I'll go ahead and show you guys the engine and everything. I will have to get some stiffer springs. I'm gonna test these out though first. I'm gonna see how much it drops. I already know where it's at with the 350 of the weight and everything, and let's see where this goes when I put this one in. I'm going with hooker headers, so I'm most likely gonna have to get rid of those there or modify them somehow, some way, so that I can keep that exhaust, dual exhaust. Save some money. And again, this goes back to the other video I had put out there for the disc brakes. My buddy had put this in for me. Again, I didn't have time. Now I'm redoing all this. And just by looking at it, this, from when you do put these in, this is the back, this is the front. So the proportioning valve, when there's reservoir, when you're driving, if you have these swapped, you're gonna get issues of the rear brakes locking up, and even the fronts. And so if you don't know much about the proportioning valve, learn about it, look it up. It's not that difficult. I bought this little tool here that keeps, if you ever You need to go look on eBay. You can find these. They're made out of aluminum, and this keeps the little ball, when you learn about this, from going forward and back. It's not, I mean, I call it a little ball, but it's some kind of valve that gets moved over. It's mainly for safety, right? And some of you already know that. Your front brakes go out, your other reservoir doesn't leak out the front. Your back brakes go out, vice versa, right? So essentially that's what that's for. In this case, I'm not worried. It ain't gonna happen. It'd have to be something major, catastrophe or something for that to happen. But for the most part, I just don't want it to lock up. It's not a good experience when you're driving. Let's see here. So trying to clean a lot of this up, redid the brake lines, got to clean this brake line up a little bit, but I won't know until I actually get the engine in, and then I'll be able to manipulate this and do some work on it, and you know, for it to be functioning and not in the way or get crimped or bent or anything like that. Because I really do want it to function as it should. So other than that, I think that's really about it from what I got going on here. Been collecting a lot of parts and trying to get everything going. Here is the transmission that I pulled. This is a turbo 350. Nothing special. Just a pretty much standard torque converter there. And as you can see, pretty good seal. It's been on there for many years now. Did it right the first time. So I took this in. The reason why I pulled it out is because I took it in. It was always leaking. I knew that it was the pan, it was the bolts. And so the bolts that I had were not long enough. The transmission shop recommended the 1-inch for these here. And you can tell on that one, it's perfect. That one's there, and so is that one. And so they had to rethread 5 of them around somewhere. I don't know which ones exactly, but they rethreaded it, cleaned it up, put a better gasket on it. Well, not better gasket, a good gasket, because the gasket I had on there is an expensive $60, $75 gasket. But then I just said, you know what, give me the gasket you guys use, standard, a good one. And it wasn't that expensive. It was actually a very good gasket. So they put that on there, put the pan back, put a few bolts on. And so I had to buy the rest of the bolts for this here. Other than that, doesn't leak there. And all it was, after they looked it over, was only the pan. That was it. Everything else was functioning fine. It's been a great transmission. I've had it for now, I gotta say, 11, 13 years. So it's been doing great. Let's see what else. So here's what I broke down over here. The 454 intake, all the, right, the under the bolts. It is a 2-bolt 454, not a 4-bolt, which I'm all right with. I'm not, this isn't gonna do 700, 800 horsepower or anything like that. The pistons that came, it was just a standard piston size. I'm gonna go 30 over with this. And the heads, I'm thinking of keeping the heads, just having them rebuilt. I'll have him take a look. He's the expert. I'm not an expert on heads, and so I'll have him take a look and see what he thinks. If these are fine, I will test them to make sure they're not leaking. That I can do. That's pretty easy. And but have him run through these. If they're great, fine. I want to push 400 400 horsepower, maybe 450 max, with what he's doing to the engine block. We'll obviously go with a better cam. We'll go with a lot of new stuff that's going to go in the engine, and then I'll be putting it all back together. I'm shooting for this summer. I know it's kind of high hopes, but I gotta put some kind of date out there. I gotta put something in order to make it happen. But in the meantime, while that's getting done, I'll be cleaning this up real good. I'll be doing the rear differential. Once I get the engine, I'll start working on whatever I can to button it up, and then put it back in, get it going. Yeah. So other than that, I'll update you on the other build I have going on. I don't do many videos on that one, mainly because that one's a major work in progress. The other 63 had this quarter redone, had the floor, a whole front floor, the front to back put in. This quarter was put in, and I'm talking about the other project. The whole trunk from here and here, tub, new tub, up to there, to right here was replaced. And this quarter is all done. So that one is a major project. And that's not being done here, that's being done at a shop. It's just way too much work, way too much time, and they're doing that. And as soon as they get that one done, which it's gonna be about another year and a half, because they still gotta do the sandblasting on the inside, and I want that done over there, I don't want it done here. Then once all of that is done in primer, then I can get it here and then start putting everything in. I will be doing the front new windshield. This is the old windshield here. So I'm gonna start, once I get done with the rear differential, I'm gonna start working on this, and I'll show how I take all this off here, all this. I've done this already before, and pop this guy out and put a new one in. I would highly recommend, if you have your old, sometimes they can resurface these, but not all of them. If you've ever seen that, there's guys that can resurface and take, you can see here, there's like a lot of rock chips that have been in the past. There's quite a bit, but at night, this is horrible driving at night. You don't want the old glass. There's swirls, the little chips, and it's just not good. Even though I have these nice new modern, this is a nice upgrade. By all means, I highly recommend you go with this. It's so much better, so much easier to see. This actually improved my night driving, to where I didn't have to be frustrated with that windshield. So I got these, oh gosh, I already forgot the manufacturer, but I'll give you maybe you can zoom in here and find out. But I want to say it's Draper. That was the manufacturer for these. Very nice. If you want quality, go for that manufacturer. Now this here is just a protective. In time, it'll happen. It's just a plastic liner that goes around, and it's a protective. I drive this. This is as much as I can, so that's why I put these on. If you're just gonna do a show car, then you probably don't need those, because you're gonna just be showing it off. but I would highly recommend you buy these with it. So, and you can't tell. You'd have to come up real close to know that they were there. Get a heat gun is how I used it. So in the summertime, I'm gonna set this out in the sun for a little bit, bring it in the garage, and then see if I can manipulate it, put it back on there. Let's see here. Other than that, I think that's really about it. There's just so much that one thing I learned from this old guy, he was talking and he said, your build will never get done if you allow your pride to get in the way. And what he means by that is if you start to get to the point of bigger horsepower, right? When you already have enough horsepower and stuff, and so blah, 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 all that good stuff. Now, what I will say, reason why I went to a 454, there's a couple reasons, is number one, I always wanted a big block. That was my whole intention in the future. So having the 350 that I had in here was mainly temporary. And another reason that motivated me to move to the 454 now versus later, and I did mention years back that I was moving towards an LS. Well, I was going down that road, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna cost way too much money. I can't get into the LS that I bought, and it was a nice one. And so I decided to stick with my original plan. And again, this goes back to what the guy was saying, right? Stick to what you're gonna do to get done. And so I got the 454, it's being worked on, get it slapped back on here, not looking to do some crazy horsepower, get it in and get it going, right? I don't wanna be wasting my time sitting here like this. So, long story short, taking more of that guy's advice, not looking to do all these other tons of upgrades and stuff. I've already done what I could do, and at this stage in my life, learning, knowing more. I've been at this car, gosh, I gotta say, going on 16-ish years now, if not a little bit more, give or take. And the beginning was slow and moving, right? Kids were little, finances. It's not until you get into your later years in life and work that things start to finally, right, pick up and things start to happen. And so that's when I was able to get more motivated and get stuff going. So other than that, I'll keep you updated. I'll do some more videos. The windshield one's gonna be a bear. That one's gonna be a tough one. So it just takes time on that, especially when you don't wanna mess up the trim. You gotta take all this off and make sure, yeah, it's just a lot of work. And the bummer part about it is I knew I should have put a new one when I put this in. Now I gotta buy a whole new seal as well. So it's not just the windshield. Gotta get the new seal also. Yeah, so it's a lot of work. Windshields, I don't know. Last time I checked, and it wasn't that long ago, $250, I think. Then they're shipping, maybe another 100, 125. So let's say it's 250, 125, 375, plus the gasket, I don't know, $60. So replacing that's gonna be at least minimum $4, maybe more, or something like that. But those are the prices now, and I'd rather do it now than 10 years from now. All right, everyone, have a good one. Thank you for watching, and feel free to ask any questions. If you have anything that you're working on, something that I most likely have already done on here, and more than happy to help out and answer your questions. Bye.